So The Punisher, big Punisher fan as you know, and today I'm going to sit down and I'm going to review the short film Punisher Dirty Laundry starring Thomas Jane. So let's get into it. Welcome to this new video. It was asked of me by one of my commenters a little while ago if I would do a review of the Punisher Dirty Laundry short film. Now, Punisher Dirty Laundry is a 10-minute fan film that saw the return of Thomas Jane in the title role as the Punisher. It was made in 2012. Thomas Jane starred as the Punisher in the 2004 Punisher movie and then was recast with Ray Stevenson in the 2008 one. But Thomas Jane adored this character. He loved the character. He really wanted to do a sequel, but after it moving nowhere, he stepped away, and then it was like the studio decided straight away, he's left, let's recast and announce the next film, which was unfortunate because for me, Thomas Jane is my favourite Punisher. Now, as a Punisher fan, I've read the comics from the late 80s. I've gone back and collected everything that came prior to that, including Amazing Spider-Man 129, which is a CGC graded comic for me. And I've got everything from there, through the good, through the bad, to the bad that's going on today in the comics, which I don't really like. That's another story. So I've been there through the Demon stuff. I've been there during Franken Castle. I've been there for War Journal, Warzone, Punisher Armory, all the one-offs. I've been there when he was turned into the Demon with this little thing on his head where he could pull shotguns out or guns of heaven out of his jacket, and all this stupid stuff. Garth Ennis era, the Max era from Garth Ennis, a lot of that fantastic stuff. So here we are with this 10-minute fan film, and like I said, starring Thomas Jane. It also stars Hellboy himself, Ron Perlman. Yes, so I'm going to watch it now, but I've never done a video like this because I'm not just going to give you a review, I'm going to give you a reaction video. But I don't mean a reaction video like people do. Well, it is similar to what people do with the reactions to trailers, but I'm not going to be going, oh, giving it all that sort of nonsense and, whatever. And, ooh, I'm not going to be doing none of that over-the-top nonsense that some people tend to do when they're doing reaction trailers. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to talk about it as it progresses, and give you my thoughts and my insight into what they do to the character, what I think of it ultimately, and there we go. So, without further ado, let's kick this one off. Now, I will say before I begin, if you see me looking down like this, that's because I'm looking at the camera, which is below the recording camera. This film was produced by Adi Shankar and directed by Phil Joannou. And it was first screened in 2012 at San Diego Comic-Con. The production of it, I'm just reading a few bits here for you. Thomas Jane screened it at the Raw Studios panel at 2012. In explaining the reason as to why he done in the film, he said, I wanted to make a fan film for a character I've always loved and believed in. A love letter to Frank Castle and his fans. It was an incredible experience with everyone on the project throwing in their time just for the fun of it. It's been a blast to be a part from start to finish. We hope the friends of Frank enjoy watching it as much as we did making it. So there we go. So I'm going to get this started now, finally, and got the earphones in so you can't hear it as I'm watching it, and then I'll, what I'll do. Let's just do it. 8, 7, 6. Okay, so here we have a van with My Child is an Honour Student. We have Frank Castle, Tom Jane, sleeping in the back of the van. Now in the comics, Frank Castle did at one point have a... This is sort of like a nod to that, but he's sleeping in it. So he's obviously moved away from his friends in the apartment, which we know at the end anyway of the last film. So there we go. So let's watch this and see. Now I don't like the black fading in some of the, like in the corner that you can get. Like it's got this sort of a thing going on about it. I don't particularly like that. But it looks nice. It looks real.
Yeah. Talk to that bitch.
Okay, fantasy. So I don't see it's there. You get.
Where you running?
You get this black fading at the sides in some shots I don't like.
Come on now. You don't run from me.
No, I already done.
You don't run from me.
Now also, when I first watched this bit here bothered me because he's seeing stuff happening. He's not really reacting to it.
Give me that motherfucking
You know, he's happy to stand back and watch this stuff, and to me that's... I don't know, I need to understand his mindset for that. He's obviously not happy, that look on his face, but he's going into the laundrette. Okay, so we as an audience are seeing this beating take place. Frank hasn't seen this. So all he's seen is a bit of an argument, a bit of a skerfuffle. So that's probably why he hasn't stepped in at this juncture. He can hear the screams, but he hasn't seen the beating. There's a bullet hole in his shirt. I suppose the Punisher has to do washing, doesn't he? Little kid here. I think it's got a good score. It really is a good score.
Look who's here! Get him, guys, get him! You're all alone this time. You back to move? What are you doing here? Huh?
Nice bullet case in there. You know, why not?
Where's your big brother now?
I suppose at the moment they could just be sort of bullies.
You told you. The fuck is this? You crossing my street?
So we know these are bad guys
You gotta pay the toll.
because what they've done to the women.
See? There's two ways to get off this street. You walk for me, or the other way.
I ain't gonna run.
So now in that sentence there, we know all we need to know about these people, the kind of
love this
scumbags
kid.
that they are, and the justice that needs to be dispensed upon them.
Say that.
Give us your boys!
I mean, this kid looks about 10. He's getting a bit antsy. See him getting a bit antsy, and he needs to. The noises and all this, everything's getting to him. It's almost like breaking point. He has to get out of there.
What the fuck you doing here?
Laundry.
See, and this is why I like
You like breathing?
Thomas Jane's performance. I know people love Netflix Punisher,
Usually.
but he's more of a bruiser
Fuck
in
outta
that.
here.
In this, there's something about Thomas Jane, the way he carries himself, that I see more as Frank Castle in the comics. Maybe a bit more racist. Here's Ron Perlman.
One bourbon. And then vodka.
6 months sober.
Now, we do know that in the 2004 film, he was a bit of a drinker. Because of what happened to his family, it drove him.
Fucking animals. Makes you want to do something, don't it? A couple of years back, that was me standing right where you are now, looking out that door. And the difference was a little girl
Some
back there.
backstory that fills in enough for us to know, and this is where Frank's getting
What'd you do?
the information.
I walked out there. 3 tours in the sandbox, not
So he
so
knows
much
these
as a
people are
scratch.
hurting women, children,
Into this shit.
and have put this fella into a wheelchair.
Always a war.
That's
on
not
us.
enough for Frank to react. Don't know
Why
why.
fucking bother?
It's nice character development that he's off the bottle.
Mighty struck those savages down
Frank?
today. Just be 5 more to replace them by tomorrow. Nothing makes a difference. The whole world is burning down, my friend. Just I got me a front row seat for it.
And nothing makes a difference, and people will
$1.50 for the
replace them.
euro.
This is why the war continues for Frank all the time. His ongoing fight with crime.
Bottle of Jack.
Get him on the wall! Say yes or I'll cut your fucking throat, kid! Come on, kid, say yes! All you gotta do is say yes! You got a choice! Out of my way!
Nice slow-mo shots.
Or this way! Come on now, kid! You say yes? All you gotta do is say yes! We got a motherfucking problem up in here!
Okay, we get CGI blood. To live with that. Yeah, it's very violent. Very violent. Bones protruding, bones breaking, blood, bullets to the head.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
You know the difference between justice and punishment.
What? What? Help! 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 Ah! Fuck you!
He leaves it up to fate. Or someone else. He's left the punishment in their hands. He's done enough. You see what they've done to the women. You saw their face. As you can see there.
So,
Doesn't even need to look at it. How cool is that? Thomas Jane is just, you know, he's my Punisher.
Hey, mister,
I think he's fantastic.
you dropped this.
Keep it. It's got a hole in it anyway.
Now that particular t-shirt, it looks like a sort you'd buy in a shop. Horrible print on it. That t-shirt there, that skull, was actually designed by Tim Bradstreet, the cover art of Punisher in the 2000s. But yeah, so there we go. That to me is just fantastic. Dirty Laundry. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Punisher, Dirty Laundry. So, as you heard, I spoke through it. So, I think it was well filmed. It looked great, aesthetically. Like I said, I had issues with some of the sort of blurring, black at the sides at times, but I'm being niggly here. This is a fan-made film. The direction was good. The aesthetic was gritty. Thomas Jane was spot on in it. Like I said, I like the score that it had, the music. It ramped up the tension. The bad guys were nasty enough, and the comeuppance was great. Ron Perlman, superb in it. It had a lot of story in it. It's 10 minutes. It had story in it. It had backstory to the characters, the character that you met in Ron Perlman. It progressed the journey that Frank Castle is on. In a couple of lines, we learn that he's no longer drinking, as he was in the Punisher 2004 movie. It's spot on. I loved it. I really do. Like I said, I think that, you know, John Bernthal's Punisher is more of a bruiser than this Punisher. This is more akin to how I've always perceived the Punisher to be. Less like that, but more like this. This is my favourite iteration of the Punisher, my favourite actor to play the Punisher. Forget what they've done with the origin in that. You know, in here, this is superb. Spot on. And there was voiceovers during, like Frank was dreaming. There was like dreams, and it sounded like they sort of made it sound more akin to the original. I got a sense of more of the original origin in those voiceovers, as opposed to, you know, sort of dream we didn't see with the voices, rather than what happened in the 04 film. All in all, fantastic. Really, really good. The design of the skull, don't particularly like. I've always liked this design, which is from the 2004 film. It would have been nice to have seen Frank wearing that again, but my guess is that there might have been a rights issue in using that version of the skull in this, given that this is a not-for-profit movie. And it's fantastic that Thomas Jane, this is how much he loved the character, that he would come back and do this. He would do this, and it gave the fans what they wanted. Okay, 10 minutes long, but it gave the fans, this is Thomas Jane back as this character that we love, that he loves, and spot on to him. That was really good. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, I've never done one of these sort of reaction, and so I don't know how it really went. I don't know whether it was good or if it wasn't good. I don't know. First time for everything, isn't there? Anyway, this is AJ. I won't be making a habit of that, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care and goodbye.